Welcome to the Stegman Coliseum on the campus of the University of Georgia for tonight's live Friday Night Heights coverage as the third-ranked LSU Tigers meet the 19th-ranked Georgia Gym Dogs. And we have a triple header of gymnastics on the SEC network tonight. After our LSU-Georgia matchup, we'll have Arkansas-Florida, followed by Alabama-Auburn to wrap up 4.5 hours of exciting gymnastics coverage. We're inside the Stegman Coliseum, which is one of the iconic buildings in all of women's gymnastics. So many great championship teams have come from the University of Georgia. And tonight we have a great matchup, and we're glad you've joined us. Hi, everybody. I'm Bart Connor, along with my fellow national and world and Olympic medalist, Bridget Sloan. Glad to be working with you, Bridget.
I'm very happy to be working with you too, Bart.
Now let's talk about the differences with these two teams. We're right at the midway point in the season, and yet their stories are quite different right now, aren't they?
Well, both LSU and Georgia have had highs and lows this season, which this second half of season is really that time to identify, are these teams going to be good or are they going to elevate to be great?
All right, let's take a look at LSU in particular. They've had highs and lows, as you mentioned, and let's take a look at a couple of their scores. They have scored twice over 198 at home, where they feel comfortable and have competed exceptionally well. Their one road loss in the SEC was to Missouri, and they only scored 197-225 there with a weaker performance than they had at home. So their head coach, Jay Clark, right there, is hoping to have a big meet tonight and show that they can score as well and perform as well on the road. He's got big stars. Boy, Haley Bryant, the #1 all-arounder in the country, and this exciting new freshman, Connor McLean, just 2 perfect 10s already in her young season. Let's talk about the story for Georgia, Bridget.
Well, Georgia is really looking to improve with each meet. After talking with head coach Courtney Capets-Carter, she said, we want to make sure that every single week we're getting better. As you can see, they were rock solid with that 197.05, and then they had a down spell of that 195.65. But they have 2 stars on their team, Lily Smith and Addie Wall, 2 freshmen who have been just incredible this season. A 10-0 from Lily Smith already, and then Addie Wall with 2 all-around titles.
All right, in the first of 4 rotations, Georgia, the home team, will be on the vault, and LSU, the visitors, will open up on the uneven bars. Amanda Cashman will be the lead-off vaulter for Georgia. You mentioned it's a quite young team. Amanda is one of the very few graduate and senior level athletes on the team.
She had a 9.775 last week. Yurchenko full. Nice start for Georgia.
To remind everybody about the meet format and dual meet competition, there are 6 gymnasts per team in each event. You count just the best 5 out of those 6 scores towards the team total in each event. The home team event order is what we call the Olympic order, which is vault, uneven bars, balance beam, and finish on floor. The away team does the reverse of that and has to finish on the balance beam, and that's where LSU will be tonight as the visiting team in the last rotation. So much exciting gymnastics in the conference. LSU bar lineup, 6 athletes there who will be in the lineup tonight.
And over on bars, that was junior Alexis Jeffrey starting off for the Tigers. Last week she had a 9.875. She has been solid every single season in that leadoff position.
9.725 was the score for Amanda Cashman in the leadoff spot. Jada Battle for Georgia, a thrilling freshman as well, and we talked about this young team, and she brings a lot to this program. Scores a 9.8 to 9.9 range on the events where she competes, particularly vault, beam, and floor. Very competitive young lady.
And Bart, this is a big vault for Georgia. She has the capability of doing a Yurchenko 1.5, which is a 10.0 start value. Watching her in warm-up, she did both. And a very nice vault for Jaden Battle.
She's a freshman out of Hampton, Virginia, and has had great success so far this year. They're relying a great deal on that young team. 20 of 24 scores for Georgia are coming from underclasswomen. So it is amazing the contributions that the freshmen and sophomores are making already to this team that's in a bit of a rebuilding phase. LSU on bars. Ashley Cowan coming after Alexis Jeffrey had a 9.875.
And last week, Ashley had a little bit of a struggle, only scored a 9.775. Should see a much higher score tonight.
Ashlyn LeClaire will be on the vault. She's one of the few upper-class women on this Georgia team. And you see behind her Courtney Kupets-Carter, who of course was a legendary gymnast herself, now the head coach at Georgia in her 7th season.
And a very nice Yurchenko full. One thing Ashlyn does so well is she keeps that laid out body position throughout the entire vault. We talk about this team being young, but man, she brings the veteran side to things. Little leg separation only because it was our view. The judges luckily will not see that, but ultimately a really nice start for Ashlyn and Georgia.
Jada Battle before her had a 9.8, so Georgia's not their best event in terms of rankings, but hoping to improve a little bit tonight here at home. Kaya Johnson, the senior from Dallas, up on the bars for LSU.
Kaya is so dynamic on this event. Had a 9.9 last week. And the dismount, just the tiniest hop there, but such a strong performer, and just so happy to see her back in these lineups, Bart.
This has been a strong event for LSU. Typically, they're ranked 3rd in the country on bars. They're number 1 in the country on floor exercise. And that's an event that Jay Clark takes a lot of pride in. He's the head coach there and is responsible for their good work on bars. Here is the thrilling freshman Lily Smith from Limerick, Pennsylvania. She's already scored a perfect 10 in her young career, and Bridget, she has a great future.
Lily's going to do a Yurchenko full. Great execution. Keeps that laid out position, hips open. Does a nice landing.
Let's talk about what she brings to the sport in terms of execution and technique.
One thing she brings is the technique that you can't really teach. You either have it or you don't. I mean, from her toe point to her knee extension, it is just absolutely beautiful.
Connor McLean, freshman now for LSU. Talk about a great start for a freshman. 2 perfect 10s already, and we're just at the midway point in her first season in NCAA gymnastics.
Connor has a jam-packed routine. That is a church. Packed down to the low bar. Such a smooth bar swinger. Aggressive with those handstands. She is not giving anything away. In the dismount, just a step on the landing, but that, in my opinion, that was the biggest and only deduction in that bar routine, was that step on the landing. You're gonna see right here, she gets so much height. And it looked like she wasn't quite ready for it. You saw those knees buckle just a little bit, but saves everything with just that small step.
LSU has 2 9.85s and a 9.875, so a strong start there for them on bars. Joffrey Scott now. Boy, she is fun to watch. The sophomore from Kansas City. You see her season average on the vault is a little over 9.8. And before her, Lily Smith had their high score so far, a 9.825 on vault.
Joffrey is so exciting to watch whenever she gets on an event, but this is a great event for her. She is explosive. She's going to do a Yurchenko full. Wow. Just explodes off the vault, gets great height. That's a 9.95 start value. And she does it almost perfectly. All she needs to do is get that stick, and that's a 9.95 in my eyes.
Let's talk about the start values, because that's so important to the gymnastics quality of these routines and the final score. Here, as we take a look at Savannah Shanehair, originally from Florida, now competing at LSU in her final season.
Savannah is beautiful on bars, great height on her single bar release. Just legs glued together. Beautiful cast handstand in this dismount. It's a double front with a half. Just a slight hop on the landings. LSU right now, those are the tenths that you don't want to give up. Those are the tenths that you can easily get back in the gym and work on, those landings. But throughout that bar routine, Savannah is such a smooth bar swinger, so talented on her bars.
She scored as high as 9.95 so far already this season, brings her grace and poise from her former career at Florida, now at LSU. Here is Addie Wall, and she already herself as a freshman has been an important contributor here to Georgia.
And Bart, this is a big vault here. Yurchenko 1.5, it's a blind landing, just takes the step and the hop on that landing, just the hop really, but just a freshman and making such an impact. And take a look here, legs glued together. I see her sticking that in her future.
You mentioned blind landing. When those forward flipping elements like that, they're really tough to judge the landing because you can't really see the floor until your feet are on it, right?
Exactly, gotta have really good air awareness.
Take a look at Haley Bryant, the #1 athlete in the country in the all-around, and she is just money every time for LSU.
Just so solid every time she gets up to compete. In this dismount, it's again double front with a half. She wanted the stick, didn't get the stick, but ultimately LSU does such a great job throughout their bar lineup with their execution and just honing in on those landings. 12
perfect 10s in her career and good scores for LSU. They didn't break into the 9.9s in that rotation, but every score between 9.85 and 9.875, and remember 6 scores and you count just the best 5 towards that team total. So you can basically drop the lowest score, which even makes these competitions more exciting. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about Georgia's state of mind. And after a heart-to-heart talk, the team got together and is really on a positive road. We'll talk a little bit more about their progression as the 19th ranked team in the country, former 10-time national champions Georgia on a comeback. These two teams are separated just by a quarter of a point. And as we mentioned before the break, Georgia is really looking to sort of change the mentality as they focus on the second half of the season. I'm Bart Connor along with Bridget Sloan. And Bridget, we're really, after Georgia had a low point, they had a bit of a heart-to-heart and set a whole bunch of new goals for the way they're going to focus on the rest of the season. How did that work out so far?
So far, I think they've done a really great job. It's so important to have those conversations. Those are the hard conversations that in the middle of the season, they're just super important. And these are some of the goals And as you can see, one that really stands out to me is just being great at your craft.
And of course, Coach Kubetz-Carter took a bit of inspiration from the speech in 1968 from Martin Luther King. It was a speech to the striking sanitation workers, and he talked about how everyone's role is important in a team effort. And so she's using a bit of that inspiration to try to tell every team member, whether you're competing in the all-around or you're helping set the board or you're only doing one event, that your role is key. And in fact, Georgia came around after that and had one of their best meets of the season and the highest score last week against Florida. So they're hoping to do it again today against another top competitor, of course, LSU. Coming up, it'll be Kaya Johnson for LSU and Joffrey Scott for Georgia in the second of 4 rotations. Don't go away. There is LSU's head coach, Jay Clark. His team has the lead by a quarter of a point, hoping to put together a strong road score. He has been quite impressed with this deep team that has 11 seniors and juniors on it. And LSU, after the first rotation, has the lead. All 6 scores on bars. We're just under that 9-9 range. We're set now for the second rotation. And that means that LSU will go to the vault, where they are literally superb. Number 2 in the nation as a team. And Georgia will be going to the bars in this rotation. Georgia currently 11th in the country on the bars, one of their best events. Jay Clark, over 30 years of coaching, formerly at Georgia, and then he took the job at LSU under D.D. Bro, who retired, and now he's the sole head coach there. And boy, does he have a deep team this year. Here is KJ Johnson on the ball.
The junior. Huge Yurchenko full. She is such a great leadoff for this vault team. LSU is so happy to have her back in the lineup.
Seemed like last year, Bridget, all we did was talk about the adversity that LSU faced. They have a great meet, and there's another injury and another injury, and they barely had a full team. And this year, they have an embarrassment of riches on all the events. Not the case for Georgia, so they're looking for great leadership from people like Nia Howard, just the sophomore. She'll lead them off on the bars.
Opens with a massive church right down to the low bar. That is a huge combination. And the dismount blindfold to double tuck.
Oh yeah, great start.
Incredible start for Georgia. They're coming from behind going into the second rotation, so honing in on the little details is going to be huge for this Georgia team.
You mentioned the word church. Of course, a lot of these skills are named after the first athlete that competed, and that was a former gymnast from Great Britain, Siobhan Church, who invented that difficult release move that she used here tonight. Okay, here comes Aaliyah Finnegan, one of the most complete gymnasts in all of NCAA competition. Very balanced.
Really nice vault. That was a Yurchenko half on front pike off. Just a slight hop on that landing. It's a blind landing, so she does not see the floor. But you see she opens up just a little late, kind of keeping that rotation going. So she takes that hop, but a really nice vault for Aaliyah.
Aaliyah has been struggling with some wrist issues. That's why we didn't see her on the uneven bars in that first rotation. Jay Clark, with such a deep team, has the luxury of working people in and out of the lineup and still getting terrific scores. Sydney Fitzgerald now for Georgia on bars.
And the sophomore, nice combination. Also Tkachev right to bail. Short on that cast handstand. The judges are looking for deductions, and those handstands are where they're going to take them. And then a step on the landing. Overall, a clean routine. It's nice to see her back in the bar lineup. But again, we talk about the second half of season. It's all about the detail work. in this dismount. It's a double layout. And right there, just brings those arms up a little bit too quick. It has to take that step forward.
Coach Carter was hoping that Sydney would be a little more aggressive in her routines, hoping to see that from the rest of her meet. Amari Drayton now, another thrilling youngster for LSU.
And that was a Yurchenko 1.5, and Amari in warm-up had these explosive vaults, but couldn't quite get the direction. She couldn't really stay in that straight line. You saw she was dangerously close to that white line, which is really for the judges to see if those athletes are going straight or not. But Amari, the freshman, she had a 9.9 last week, so capable of big scores.
Addie Wall, you see her average there on bars. This is the 6th meet of the season for the LSU Tigers.
And Addie showcasing elegant movements on bars, but such a powerful athlete, aggressive with those handstands just like that. Tried to get that stuck landing, couldn't quite get it, ended up taking that step, but just a freshman, and what an impact she's made this far in the season. And right here, holds that handstand, could have held it just a smidge longer, just to show those judges, don't lift that pen.
This is the 6th meet for Georgia and LSU, both of them here at the midpoint in the season. Addie Wall, a reliable competitor in just her freshman year, has competed consistently on every event so far. Savannah Shane here.
And another Yurchenko 1.5. LSU has got some big 10-0 start values in this vault lineup. Really crucial when coming into the end of
early
season.
Bridget, let's talk about start values, because that's really important to the final score here.
It's becoming more and more important. Let's just say that. Vault used to be just a regular event, and then nowadays you have to have a handful of 10-0 start values. People want their whole lineup to be 10-0s.
Holly Schneider now for Georgia on bars.
And another church to bail. This Georgia team showcases difficulty in their bar routines. And that is a stuck double tuck for Holly Snyder, just the freshman. She had a 9.9 last week. See what the judges think this week, but gets some serious height on that double tuck and finds that landing.
He's only been in the bar lineup twice and had a 9.9, as you mentioned, last week. One of those athletes getting some reps here. Kaya Johnson, she has been a standout for so many years at LSU. Here she is on the vault, a big vault.
Huge Yurchenko double twist, and she does it so well. She makes it, you think that you can do it, honestly. Just great height and such control with such a powerful vault.
You mentioned start value earlier. That's one of those 10-0 start value vaults, because she does a double twisting Yurchenko. The Yurchenko, you go back onto that vaulting table and launch yourself in the air. 1.5 flips and 2 twists is very complicated. As we go back to Georgia on the bars for Joffrey Smith.
And Joffrey, such a beautiful swinger you see in that pack salto, and she's going to do a Van Leeuwen. Nicely done. Very difficult. And a huge dismount here. Oh, she wanted the stick. Oh. Ended up taking the step forward, but again, this Georgia bar lineup, one thing I love is they're not afraid to do the difficult skills.
Joffrey Scott, of course, she's one of the class clowns on the team. She's a lot of fun, always keeping everybody entertaining. And she says on that dismount, I'm ja-flying. She's got a whole bunch of terms that all start with J-A in tribute to her name. Haley Bryant on the vault.
And in for a treat, one of the best vaults in NCAA. That was a front pike with a half. Just an outstanding performer on vault. I think I could have vaulted under her, actually.
LSU has not even broken into the 9-9s yet in this meet on any score until Kaya Johnson before Haley Bryant went up and got the first 9-9 of the meet for LSU. We talked about those 198 scores. In order to score 198, that's a big metric for championship level teams. That's a 9-9 average. Well, here's somebody who knows about getting big scores. Lily Smith for Georgia on bars.
Lily has technique that is truly textbook. Just an elegant, beautiful bar swinger here. And a nice solid routine for Lily Smith. Last week, she had a 9.95 in bar. Like you mentioned, she has gotten a perfect 10 already this season on uneven bars.
No 9-9s yet for Georgia on bars as well. Here we are in the midpoint of the season. We mentioned these teams at very different stages in terms of their development. Georgia giving some youngsters like Lily Smith a chance, and boy, what a freshman year she's had so far, Bridget.
An outstanding athlete for this Georgia team, and something with such a young team, you're seeing these freshmen step up, and not because they can, but because they have to, and they take that on with such just elegance. I mean, they're so proud to be representing their school.
Lily Smith had a perfect 10 in meet 3 of the season, and so we are at the halfway point of this competition, and we're joined by the head coach at LSU. Jay, how you doing, Jay?
I'm good, man. How are you?
All right, let's talk about your impression of your team here. We're at the halfway point, and what are you seeing that you like and what you don't like?
I mean, you tell me. I think I think we're doing a good job. The interior parts of the bar sets were really nice. We didn't land but one dismount. We didn't land a vault but KJ. So, you know, those are things that we've been trying to get a little bit better on. I just challenged them. Let's stay aggressive, guys. You get a little hesitant when you're trying to be perfect. And so I think that's kind of where we are. It's fine. I mean, we're doing well. This is a great environment. We're on the road. And so I think we're doing fine.
Well, Jay, heading into these last 2 events, what did you tell your team going into floor and then going to head to beam?
Yeah, I just told them let's be aggressive. Let's attack these events. I felt like we were a little bit hesitant, a little bit tentative, trying to lace one all the time. As I say it, like you're just trying to be perfect on everything, and that's when you start hopping around. Focus on the direction and what gets you to those landings, and you'll be in a good spot.
Well, Jay, as you head into floor, you know, this is a huge event for you guys. What are you really going to focus on going into this?
Well, we just need to hit right now, Bridge. We we got a great floor routine. We took Connor out. Her back's been bothering her a little bit, and so she's just going to do bars and beam tonight. But Liv went in for KJ last week and did a great job, so she'll start us off, and we just hope that they love the floor and we can knock them out of the park.
All right, thank you, Jake. Your team has the lead by .375, just under 4/10 as we go to the second half of this competition today. LSU will be on a spectacular event, the floor, and Olivia Dunn, the star at LSU, will be leading them off on the floor. Georgia will be on the beam in this third rotation. Mark Connor and Bridget Sloan back here in Georgia. We have a huge night of gymnastics on hand, as we said at the top of the show. After this meet here, LSU, Georgia, then we'll go to Arkansas versus Florida. John Roethlisberger and Sam Peshek will be on that call, and then at 9 p.m. Eastern, it'll be Alabama, Auburn, Jason Ross, and Alicia Quinn on that call. 4.5 hours of gymnastics here in the SEC, one of the top conferences in all of women's gymnastics. Let's take a look at the teams in the SEC and where they currently ranked, Bridget.
The SEC is just a dominant conference. As you can see, every team in the top 20. Every single team is elevating and becoming just better and better, and it is so exciting to watch and be part of.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot here now. Oklahoma will join the SEC next season. Okay, so let's take a look at the current NCAA championship as you see it. Only 8 teams out of 36 from the qualifying will make it through to the final, and this is your early pick at the final 8. What do you think?
I think it looks really good. I'm sure not everyone is going to agree with my final 8, but these teams, all 8 of them, have not only improved from last season to this season, but they improve every single week. They're hungry. I'm excited to see Michigan State. I really want to see them get to that NCAA championship as a team. Cal, UCLA, Florida, LSU, Kentucky. I could probably make 3 different sheets of my top 8, and they would all be different. That is just how incredible NCAA gymnastics is right now.
And LSU has been the runner-up 3 times, and hoping this year might be their good luck charm with their deep team to finally win an NCAA championship. Coming up, we'll have Addie Wall. She'll be on the balance beam for the home team, Georgia. And floor exercise, of course, Haley Brandt, the #1 all-arounder in the country, will be their anchor competitor. Don't go away. And welcome back. We're at the halfway point. I'm Bart Connor along with Bridget Sloan here at the LSU Georgia meet at Stegman Coliseum at the University of Georgia. LSU has extended their lead now to just under 4/10 of a point. 9-9 was their high score on the vault for Kaya Johnson. And in this third of 4 rotations, the home team, the Georgia Gym Dogs, will open up on the beam. And there are the 6 athletes that will compete in this lineup. Once again, 6 athletes compete. You will count just the best 5 of those 6 scores towards their team total. Georgia trails LSU, so they'll need to be solid in this rotation on beam to get back in this contest, because LSU is on the floor where they're the #1 team in the country.
And Nia Howard starting this Georgia beam lineup. Head coach Courtney Carter said it is going to be so nice to have her back in the lineup. That was earlier this week, so seeing her in this leadoff position. Such a strong athlete, starting off with a very solid acro series.
Back in the lineup after having a hyperextended knee.
So far, very clean in this leadoff position. On every event, it's important, but especially on beam. The athlete needs to be solid and do just that and stick that landing. Really nice job for Nia Howard, the sophomore, making such an impact on this Georgia team. And this dismount, gainer full off the side. You see she spots the landing, finds the landing, and does not move.
Olivia Dunn now, the senior from New Jersey, will get the spot, as Jay Clark told us before the break, to lead off the LSU Tigers on floor. #1 team in the country on this event, and you see their season average 49.54. Now 49.5 is a 9.9 average for every athlete. So you're about ready to see a master class in power tumbling, starting with the senior Olivia Dunn. Her season high this year is just under 9.9. She had a 9.875 and only competed in the lineup a few times last year, getting more action this year in her senior year.
And Olivia last week, she had a 9.875, and originally, Bart, she wasn't in the floor lineup, so this is a little bit of a change tonight for Olivia, and a little short on that double tuck. And Olivia does such a nice job of showcasing flexibility, grace, and just power in her tumbling. Really, the entire LSU floor lineup exhibits all of that.
See her cheering teammate Sierra Ballard, cheering her on from the corner. You need a lot of energy for this last pass. All right.
Gets the, we call that the college stick of a double pike. Not quite the controlled landing that the judges are looking for, but no movement from her feet. And a nice start for LSU. Again, Bart, you talked about this is a strong event for the Tigers. They are exquisite. Last week, they had a 49.775. Let that sink in.
Zora Morgan, the freshman now from Atlanta, will be up for Georgia. We weren't sure we were going to see her in the lineup, and yet she got the call. There's been some lineup changes here for Georgia in the last minute, and that's one of the things that Courtney Kupets-Carter, their head coach, told us. She said, we're going to mix it up a little bit and remind everybody that everybody matters on this team.
Beautiful handspring layout, step out. No movement.
Katie Finnegan was in the lineup for Georgia. And we weren't sure we were going to see Zora tonight, but Coach Carter felt confident after the warm-ups, and Katie not competing at all tonight. So a great opportunity for this young lady.
Just the dismount for Zora. Ground off 1.5, pretty big step there you saw at the end, but throughout that routine, solid on every single element she did.
Only her second time in the lineup for Georgia on the beam. She competed one other time, got a 9.85. But they have 2 hit routines in those first 2 spots, and Coach Carter is thrilled with that, because this, as we know, is many times the make or break event in women's gymnastics. Back to LSU on the floor. Amari Drayton, you see her average is 9.9.
Amari's got a huge double layout. Wow. Lacked a little bit of rotation there, but she got to that lunge quickly.
Olivia Dunn led them off with a 9.8.
Front step out through to a double tuck. Much better on that landing. Saw that chest rise as she landed, getting to that lunge.
LSU every year comes up with a theme, and this year their theme is Get There. And at their team retreat last fall, it was Amari Drayton. They were talking about the climb and the summit and how they were going to characterize their goal. And she said, why don't we just say get there? This is the year to get there. And of course, they mean, among other things, that national championship is one of the few trophies that this storied program has not yet earned.
And a nice performance for freshman Amari Drayton. She had a 9.9 last week. Not the strongest tumbling I've seen from Amari. And this front through to double tuck right here. You see her chest continues to rise up, gets to that stuck landing. Just lacked a little bit of rotation on those passes.
Jada Battle averages over 9.8 on beam. They have already a 9.85 from Nia Howard, and Zora Morgan a 9.825. 2 solid routines. Remember, you compete 6, you count just the best 5 scores towards the team total.
And Bart, when we talked to head coach Courtney Kupets-Carter this week, she mentioned that Jada, she's so competitive. And she does have, Courtney has some expectations for her And it's not just to make the routine, but to perform it to her best ability. And I think Jada is doing a great job so far of doing just that.
Former junior national vault champion, and you're right, they haven't quite seen her best this year. Could tonight at home and against LSU be the night?
Just the dismount here, so confident.
Oh, no. Hey, let's talk about that landing, because that's important. It's a new rule this year.
Yes, it is to not only stick, but to hold that stick. But right here, that front toss, great height on there. And the beat jump, you see those feet are a little bit sideways. But this dismount, huge gainer pull off the side, and right there, those shoulders go back, and she just can't stop the momentum.
Small tenth, maybe half a tenth of a point deduction for a landing that's a little over rotated like that and not held for one complete second. KJ Johnson, now you see her floor average.
Wow, huge tuck full in to start things off for KJ.
So far their scores over there, Olivia Dunn has a 9.8, Amari Drayton a 9.825.
So Bart, those scores are rising, which is what you want to see. But this LSU floor team, they're capable of such big scores. You really want to see them be breaking into the 9.9s.
KJ Johnson, of course, a big part of the power that LSU displays in all of their athletics. She was out with the flu last week, and so great to see her back in the lineup. Looks like she has plenty of endurance to make it to the end of that routine.
Really nice job for KJ. Like you mentioned, she was sick last week, did not compete in their floor lineup. So great to see her back. She's such a powerhouse on floor. Take a look at this round off back handspring, double tuck. Gets right to that lunge.
Anya Turner, another freshman. She's from Highlands, Colorado, on the beam. 9.875 for Jada Battle. Before her is the high score for the home team so far on beam. Georgia doing a nice, solid job in this event. No 9.9s yet, but confident performances.
And Bart, we talked earlier about how Courtney wants this team to rise. I spoke a little too soon there. That was a triple series handspring layout, step out, and just was a little crooked on that first layout, step out, and couldn't save the second one. Very difficult series. But she wants to see these athletes rise and get better and better each week. Now keep in mind, this is going to be the routine that Georgia is going to have to drop if they want to stay in the mix to come out with the win tonight. Round off 1.5 dismount, not the routine that Anya wanted. But take a look here. This is a triple series handspring layouts about right there. As soon as those feet turn to the side, it's pretty much game over. But finishes with a nice 1.5 and just a hop on the landing.
Kind of a new routine for her. She had been falling on her aerial cartwheel and got frustrated with that, so she decided, I'm going to go for that triple series, and it has been working out, but did not work out for her this evening. Now here is a masterclass on floor exercise, likely from Aaliyah Finnegan. We've seen it so many times.
And this first pass for Aaliyah is so great. She's gonna do a double Arabian into a stag jump. Just so well done.
We watched Aaliyah compete at Belgium at the World Gymnastics Championships this last fall. She earned a spot in the Paris Olympics for her mother's home country of the Philippines. So she'll be going to Paris. We wish her well there. And I'm sure her focus now is on having a complete, successful season for LSU long before she starts focusing on elite gymnastics and the Olympic journey.
Last pass is a 2.5 punch front. Very well done. Such a great performer and so exciting to watch every time she competes. And this is her last pass. It's a 2.5 twist punch front, and she had some trouble at Missouri, but no trouble tonight. Gets right to that lunge.
You know, you see the ice bags in the background, and you see a little more tape. I mean, you know this well, Bridget, because you competed for your career at Florida. But this is the point in the season where there's a little more tape and a little more ice on the sidelines, isn't there?
And that's all right. That's whatever keeps your body held together. You just got to do what you got to do.
Lily Smith on beam now.
Lily is exquisite on this event.
Very reminiscent of Nastia Lukin. That long frame, beautiful execution in lines. Nastia, of course, the 2008 teammate of yours, Bridget. And a little stumble.
Slight balance check. And I always think whenever you have a balance check on balance beam, it's what you do after that balance check that really helps your confidence. You got to put that behind you and keep going because the routine is not over yet.
Remember, there was a 9-1 for Anya Turner. That's the score they'd like to drop, so they need respectable scores in the last couple of routines.
Georgia right now, they don't need to be perfect, but they just need to hit, and they need to stay on one of the hardest dismounts.
Haley Bryant on floor now. You see her floor average. She's third in the NCAA, averaging over a 9.9. And this opening tumbling run is out of this world.
Wow. A front handspring to a double front. Just out of this world. Showcasing artistry. She's so dynamic on floor. And a huge front 1.5. And Haley scored a 10-0 on this event last week. Capable of a big score here tonight.
The senior who has earned 12 perfect 10s in her superstar career. Competed in the all-around last year in every single meet and never missed a routine. Look at this opening tumbling pass.
It's huge. Blind landing. We talk about you can't see your feet. You can't see that landing. Great air awareness, and finishes with that front layout to front 1.5 twist. Just like a dart when she lands.
Joffrey Scott now on the beam. 9.75 is her average. And remember, Lily Smith scores in as a 9.875. So this is a crucial routine for Georgia right now because they're hoping to replace that 9-1 with whatever Joffrey gets right now.
Opens up with that acro series right over the top. Split leap to switch leap. Nice job so far for Joffrey. Again, they're going to need to drop that 9.1 and the famous moonwalk.
Started many years ago by Nikki Childs, and every year one gymnast on the Georgia team gets selected to do that traditional moonwalk on the beam.
And a very nice job for Joffrey. Not a perfect routine necessarily, but a solid routine, and that is what Georgia needed. They needed a hit routine, and Joffrey delivered.
That's right. They're going to replace that 9-1, so no scores 9-9, but everything else between 9.825 and 9.875. Of course, we'll wait to see the score for Joffrey. Here is another highlight potentially for LSU. Kaya Johnson. It was a little over a year ago that she tore her Achilles tendon. The fact that she's even back at all is remarkable, and she's ranked 5th in the country on this event, one of her specialties.
Opens up with a huge tuck full in. Kaya, she's hyper analytical about herself. When we talked to Jay, he mentioned that her ability to fix corrections is just unmatched. She's an absolute pleasure to have in the gym, I have no doubt, and she is so fierce when she competes.
On the 19th of January, had a perfect 10 on floor. Remember, LSU's goal at this meet was to try to get a solid score and a solid competition at an away meet. The one loss in the SEC was where they were just a little off at Missouri, and Missouri was hot at home and beat LSU. LSU in control so far today.
And Kaya finishes this incredible floor routine. That was a double pike, gets right to her landings.
All right, and as can be expected for LSU, another hit routine. Their last 3 scores, KJ Johnson, Aaliyah Finnegan, and Haley Bryant, were 9-9, 9.925, and 9.95 respectively. And so after a drought of 9.9s, I think only one in the first couple of rotations, now LSU on their traditional track of 9.9 plus. And floor is the place where they do it, the #1 team in the country. They'll extend their lead going into the 4th and final rotation, but of course they're going to have to go to the beam, and Georgia will come to the floor. All right, we're joined now by Coach Courtney Kupets-Carter. Courtney, your impressions of your team. You said you wanted to try a whole bunch of different youngsters in this lineup, and what are you seeing that you are impressed with, and what do you need to work on for the next rotation?
Yeah, they've got the competitive edge. They want to get out there. They're doing their skills well. We're just not finishing on the dismounts, on those landings, just those fine little details. So we're going to go over to floor, keep the energy, keep the excitement, do those big skills that we have, and then find those landings.
Well, Courtney, Lily came after Anya's fall. What did it mean to you to see her bounce that team back and get that nice 9.875?
Those are the most important moments in a meet. And so she turned it around, followed by Joffrey on that beautiful, gorgeous beam routine she had. And so that builds the momentum for our next event going into floor, keeping up that energy.
All right, well, keep up the good work there, Courtney. You team trails by 0.6 of a point behind LSU, but you're going to the floor, and LSU will have to finish this dual meet on the balance beam. The fourth and final rotation on Friday Night Heights. It's LSU, Georgia, when we come back. Welcome back to Stegman Coliseum. I'm Bart Connor along with Bridget Sloan. Before we get set for the fourth and final rotation, here are a couple of headlines around the conference. Last week, LSU was lights out at home, a 198-475. It's the highest score in the country this year. And Kentucky was spectacular in their first ever win. They were 0-17 going into Alabama and got a win at an away meet there that in the top 5. Okay, so now 4 SEC teams are in the top 7, and here are the gymnasts of the week. Take it away, Bridget.
For Luisa Blanco from Alabama, she is your gymnast of the week. She is outstanding every time she competes, just makes an impression every single week. And then specialist of the week, Mackenzie Wilson from the University of Kentucky scored that perfect 10 on vault. Outstanding performance, and Kentucky on the rise, continuing to improve every single week. And freshman of the week, Miss Kennedy Griffin from University of Missouri. Again, another program, Bart, that they are just elevating every single week. I think you mentioned that Missouri is in your top 8, and Kennedy Griffin, exactly why that is.
Quite possible a team that could find themselves in that final 8 there as well. Okay, so LSU has the lead by 0.6 of a point, but guess what? They go to the balance beam, which is their lowest ranked of 4 events. So an opportunity here for Georgia, if they can hit on floor, to make this a tight one going into the final rotation. We'll be back. Here is tonight's region's confident move. Bridget?
Miss Holly Snyder on uneven bar sticks this double tuck. So well done. And then Nia Howard back in the beam lineup sticks her dismount. They are finding these landings, just what Courtney wanted to see from her team. And Jada Battle, this could have been a college stick. I think if she gets a little more experience, she'll know to turn towards the judges right there. Takes that step, doesn't quite get the stick, but again, great performance from all the Georgia Gym Dogs.
All right, so now here is the story. LSU leads by 0.6 of a point. They go to the balance beam. They had a 49-525 on floor. Their last 4 scores there were 9-9 plus. In fact, Kaya Johnson, their anchor competitor, had a 9-925. So that puts LSU in the lead spot, but guess what? They're on beam. Now, this is a perfect role for somebody like Sierra Ballard, who is getting here a few notes from Ashley Natt, who herself was a many-time All-American at LSU, now one of the assistant coaches there.
And Bart, Sierra is a very strong leadoff on balance beam, and this is the hardest event in gymnastics. It is 4 inches wide. And you need this leadoff to not be perfect necessarily, but to be a guaranteed hit.
Sierra has been in this situation many times.
What's up with her acro series? That was a handspring layout step out. Good control on that full turn. Done on that leap combination.
I like her aggressiveness here, Bridget.
She's not afraid to be aggressive on balance beam, which is something that is so pleasant to watch. She's aggressive with her finishes, but she's not afraid of the balance beam, which, again, it's 4 inches wide. You're flipping, you're twisting, and you still got to land.
It's as wide as a curb on the street, but it's also 4 feet in the air, which is a whole bunch different than a curb.
And the dismount, not the stick that we're used to seeing from her, but overall a very strong performance for Sierra. They have a strong lead right now, but again, Bart, like you mentioned, balance beam is a make or break event.
But they need his hit routines here to hold on to that lead, because here comes Georgia on floor. Now, on this event, they're only ranked 27th in the country, but once again, as we said at the top of the show, a very young team with 80% of the scores coming from underclasswomen who are gaining experience.
Little stumble on that first pass. Like all the other events, you will see 6 athletes compete. They will drop 1 score.
Jada Battle, the freshman from Hampton, Virginia. This is only her 2nd time in the floor lineup. I mentioned that Katie Finnegan is not competing tonight, which hurts the depth of Georgia a little bit, but opens the door and opportunities for some others.
You see those teammates in the corner cheering her on. Gearing up for this next pass. Front tuck, step out into a double tuck. Nice job on the finish there. Really good start, but unfortunately had an error on that first pass. And take a look right here. Front handspring, double twist, and just doesn't get the rotation, puts that hand down. That is going to be a 5/10 deduction. But finishes, this is a front tuck step out into her double tuck. And Bart, you mentioned she's only been in the floor lineup twice. Once she gets a couple more floor routines under her belt, I think she'll gain that confidence.
Alexis Jeffrey now for LSU on beam after Sierra Ballard had a 9.825 in that critical leadoff role.
Cat leap into a switch side, very nicely done. Alexis's job right now is to do this beam routine to the best of her abilities. Not to be perfect, but she does need to stay on the balance beam. Acro series handspring, layout step out. No air there. A standing front tuck.
Jeffrey, just a junior, transfer from UCLA the year before.
Ooh, and a little under-rotated on that dismount. That was a round up 1.5. Stays on her feet, but just looked a little timid throughout that beam routine. Not the confident Alexis Jeffrey we're used to seeing on balance beam.
We'll go back now to floor for Georgia. Sydney Fitzgerald, her average just over 9.8. Their 2nd freshman in a row coming up. Georgia, of course, 10-time national champions. They haven't won it since way back in 2009. They won 5 in a row. And of course, Courtney Kupets-Carter, their head coach, was among those leaders of those championship teams. But Georgia had their best meet of the year last week against Florida with a big turnaround. So hoping to continue that momentum tonight against LSU here at home. 9.125 was the score for Jada Battle. So Georgia needs 5 hit routines right now.
And Sydney opens up front 1.5 into a back layout step out. Bart, you mentioned that Georgia needs 5 hit routines now after Jada battles 9.125. So Sydney's job is to get this floor team back on track, get that ball back to rolling with those hit routines, because momentum is contagious. Excitement is contagious. And Sydney doing a great job so far. Double tuck, sticks the landing. Really nice job for Sydney Fitzgerald again, getting this Georgia team back on track. Had a 9.825 last week. And here's this first pass. It's a front 1.5 twist. Little crooked there, but gets it right back into that layout step out and finishes with this round off back handspring. Double tuck. And gets right to her lunge.
Courtney Kupez Carter happy with that. Another one of their freshmen contributing tonight. At least 14 of 24 scores coming from just the freshman class. And of course, the last couple of years, Georgia has had terrific recruiting in the freshman classes. Connor McLean, we saw her get a 10 a couple of weeks ago on beam. She is superb here.
And Bart, last week she had a 9.975. which means one judge did in fact give her a 10 last week. She is just outstanding for this LSU team, and I cannot wait to see her in that all-around position whenever it comes.
She's so complete here. She has the skill, the technique, the grace, the acrobatic athleticism. She's got it all.
She is the full package. I mean, she has really found the love for gymnastics again. When we talked to Jay Clark earlier this week, that was something that he was really excited to see. Her falling in love and playing with gymnastics again. She's got a bag of tricks for skills. Right there, side aerial, just done so well.
You mentioned the difficulty level of this routine. She may consider returning back to elite competition as well, where difficulty requirements are even tougher than college. Good job for Connor McLean.
Fought for that landing, got the stick. What LSU needs. Coming after Alexis Jeffrey, 9.775. And you see right here, she fights. Those heels come up just a little bit, but those feet don't move, which is important.
One more fascinating tidbit about her. She's a walk-on at LSU this year, because she was considering a run for the Olympics, decided to go to college, and Jay Clark had given all his scholarships away. So she walked onto the team, and what a contributor she is, and we wish her the best, whether she continues in college or elite. Back now to the floor. Sydney Fitzgerald had a solid 9.85 in that second spot. Here's Ashlyn Leclerc.
First tumbling pass. Front full step out into a double twist. This is an athlete that Courtney just talked so highly about, how she just loves gymnastics. Loves to compete, loves to get out there, and loves to have fun.
The senior Kentucky transfer, Port Crane, New York. Georgia needs solid hits for the rest of their routines here, because Connor McLean's score for LSU over there just came in on beam. It's a 9.925.
Last pass for Ashlyn. Nice 1.5 to lay out, step out. And a nice finish. Georgia showcasing that they haven't given up. This is a great event for Georgia, but it's also an event that they haven't quite figured out yet of that lineup. Right here, Ashlyn ending with that front 1.5 twist, also known as a Rudy, into her layout step out. So this is the event for Georgia that head coach Courtney Kupez Carter said, I'm ready to complete. And she's on her way there.
Kaya Johnson now on the beam for LSU. As I mentioned, Connor McLean before her, 9.925. Remember, coming up after this, it's Arkansas, Florida, and then Alabama, Auburn. 3 more hours of gymnastics on the SEC network.
Kaya gearing up for her acro handspring layout. Step out. Teeny tiny balance check, but because she is so experienced, she covers so well, gets those arms down so aggressively. Saw her take a deep breath there. She just needs to ease into this beam routine. Sometimes when you get a little too excited, balance beam is not the event that you want to have a little too much excitement.
Bridget, you had quite a lot of success on beam. What was the mentality that you tried to find a perfect balance of aggressiveness and calmness?
I will tell you, Bart, I went into autopilot. I normally sang a song. I would try to basically take my mind off of not the fact that I'm on this 4-inch balance beam. And just let your body take over. Your body knows what to do. Kaya back in this lineup. And that is a stuck round off double twist.
Kaya Johnson competing in the all-around tonight, meaning she's doing all 4 events. Great dismount.
Really nicely done. You see, she finds that landing and gets the stick.
There's a 9.9 on vault, a 9.85 on bars, 9.925 on floor towards her all-around. Here is Amanda Cashman now coming after Ashlyn Leclerc had their high score so far, and her season high, 9.875 on floor.
And Amanda Cashman, she had a 9.875 last week. Opens up with a 1.5 layout. Talking to Courtney this week, she was so impressed with how Amanda has just molded into whatever role Courtney needed from her. A veteran on this Georgia team with so much experience. Courtney said she wants to be a good example for her teammates. And again, whatever role she needs. And right now, she is going to be setting up for this double tuck. Wow, really nice job for Amanda. What a big confidence boost, not just for her, but for this team. That momentum, that excitement, it is contagious.
Here's a young lady that was out with an Achilles tear her freshman year, and look at the power in this double back somersault at the end.
Outstanding job.
Okay, let's do a quick all-around update. Here is Haley Bryant set for her final rotation. She is currently the leader in the all-around. There's no surprises there, although she and Kaya Johnson are sort of the 2 hammers in the all-around for LSU, as Jay Clark calls them. They're the 1-2 punch that just about puts everybody out. Look at her beam average, over 9.9 as well.
And Haley started off with that front aerial to back handspring. One thing I love about Haley on balance beam is she's so fluid with her movements, but she's not afraid to get some height on every element she does. Nice control there on that full turn. Right here, this is a standing front. Most people need to do a little run, a hurdle, a jump, but not Haley. Just stands there, does the front, and does it so well.
Even Jay Clark says sometimes I just have to stand back and just be a fan.
Wow, excellent job for Haley. Sticks that dismount. I mean, I'm not one who bets, but man, if I had to bet on an athlete, Haley's got mine. And this right here, that is a standing front. And then ends with this front 1.5 twist. And gets the stick.
See why she's the #1 gymnast in the all-around in the country. She's leading her team to another victory tonight. LSU in control. But guess what? Amanda Cashman, just before Addie Wall here, got the first 9-9 of the night for Georgia on the floor. Good for her. Here's Wall.
And Addie opens with that huge tuck full in. 2 flips, 1 twist, finds the landing.
Talked about that recruiting class at Georgia the last couple of years. That includes people like Addie Wall and, of course, Lily Smith.
And Addie doing a great job so far. Last pass here, front tuck step out into her double tuck, finds that landing. I love to see these athletes use that air awareness. She was a little close to the corner you saw there, but knew exactly where she was, did a smaller lunge, stays in bounds and finishes a gorgeous routine.
Oh, she's happy with that performance here in the 4th and final rotation for Georgia. But guess what? Over on the beam, Haley Bryant, a 10. It's the 13th career 10 for Haley Bryant. What can this woman not do, Bridget?
I don't know. I mean, she is unstoppable every weekend.
Guess what? Aaliyah Finnegan gets the anchor spot and is often, as I said, a masterclass in elegance, execution, and perfection of gymnastics. Great scores for LSU on beam.
Handspring, layout, step out, layout, step out. Ooh, slight balance check there. You saw that foot come off. That is going to be a deduction.
Talked to Jay Clark earlier this week, and he has the luxury, as we mentioned, with the team depth of not putting everybody up every week. He can rest a few athletes, and she's struggled a bit with a wrist injury, and so he has the luxury of getting great scores from a wide variety of athletes and allow them to rest a little bit, because not only does she want to compete all year in college, but will be competing for Philippines in the Olympics this coming summer.
And a nice gainer full. Really nice job for Aaliyah. Really the biggest deduction was that balance check at the end of her series. It was a triple series. Very difficult. But again, coming after Haley Bryant's perfect 10.
Lily Smith will be the anchor competitor for Georgia here on the floor. And Addie Wall's score just came in. She got their second 9-9 of the evening, back-to-back with Cashman. So here is Lily Smith, the star freshman all-arounder, competing tonight. She has a 9.825 and 2 9.875s. Here she is on the floor.
Lily's artistry is just absolutely beautiful. This is such a treat to watch. Opens up with a stunning handspring double twist. And gets right back to it for the second pass. 1.5 front layout, so well done. She's so elegant with every movement from her fingertips all the way to her toes. So precise. Last pass for Lily. Front handspring, 1.5 into a huge straddle jump. Excellent job. Power and grace. What a stunning floor routine for Lily Smith.
And she's coming after Cashman's 9.9 and Addie Wall's career high, her 9.9. A great finish here at home for the Georgia Gym Dogs. They're not going to get the team victory, but a nice finish on floor for this very young team with just exudes potential. LSU will get the win. There is Jay Clark. Last week he got his 100th win as a head coach, and of course he's been in the sport for more than 35 years with great programs at Georgia, where he coached, in fact, Courtney Kupets-Carter, who is the coach at Georgia now, and now he is in charge of LSU. They get the win, ranked 3rd in the country coming into this meet. And of course, one of his stars, time in and time out, is Haley Bryan. Haley, congratulations on your 13th perfect 10. Did you anticipate tonight could be the night to get another one?
I definitely don't really think about the scores. I really just came in one skill at a time, one event at a time, one routine at a time, and just really try to focus on what I do day in and day out of the gym. And I know if I do that, I'm going to get the best score for this team, and that's all I'm here to do right now.
Well, Haley, you guys had an outstanding meet tonight. This was big for you to get a good road score. What does it mean for you and your team?
It's absolutely amazing. This is what we've been working for. We went back into the gym after last week and really just honed in on the little details, the handstands, the landings. Obviously, it wasn't perfect tonight. We still have so much to improve on, but one step at a time, 1% better each meet, and we're going to keep going.
Well, congratulations, Haley. You're the #1 all-arounder in the world, in the NCAA, but maybe in the world. So
thank you.
Let's talk about your aspirations for the end of the season. You said maybe this is the year that we get there. Do you feel like this team has the potential to win that national championship?
Most definitely. This team is absolutely amazing. I love each and every one of these girls. We work so hard every single day, inside and outside the gym, and I feel like that's what it's really going to come down to. And then if we just really focus on what we do in the gym, again, take it one skill at a time, one event at a time, we're going to get there.
Thank you very much, Haley. Congratulations. It's easy to see why you're the #1 all-arounder in the NCAA. We wish you continued success. There's no resting in the SEC. Next week, you're going to have to take on Auburn, so good luck at that one.
Thank you so much.
Oh, a terrific night here at Stegman Coliseum. LSU with a 197.625. Georgia with a 197.075. Respectable performance there, considering Georgia is in a bit of a rebuilding phase. Your final thoughts, Bridget?
A really great night for both teams. A lot of highs. Definitely some things to go back in the gym and work on. Again, Bart, we talked about that second half of season and going into it. Both these teams, they weren't perfect tonight, but definitely had a lot of great showings, and I'm really excited to see them the second half of season.
Well, I certainly enjoyed working with you, Bridget. Thanks for being on the team tonight. For Bridget Sloan and our entire SEC gymnastics team, I'm Bart Connor. Thanks for watching. Now, Friday Night Heights continues. It's Arkansas, Florida. That's coming up next. John Roethlisberger and Sam Pesek will be on the call.